All right, so a quick introduction about myself. Hey everyone, I'm Vikram, subject matter expert in enterprise security management, and I'll be your presenter for today. So before we start, let us quickly look at what are the features or what are the aspects that we are going to cover today. So first, we need to look at why log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer. Next, we'll look at some of the basics of Firewall Analyzer, such as the steps to fetch the firewall logs and an overview on the reports that are being generated. After the overview report, we'll also be diving deep into the use cases on how to look at the various reports that are available in Firewall Analyzer. And these reports include VPN reports, traffic reports, security reports, etc. Finally, we'll also be covering how to set alarm notifications for various triggers that is available in Firewall Analyzer. So let us address the most important question in hand, that is, why log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer? The network and network security landscape is rapidly changing, and to stay ahead of this change, security admins are working around the clock to install new network devices such as IDS, IPS, proxy, and VPN over and above the existing firewall. However, this hasn't deterred the cyber criminals, and they're only finding new ways and different segments of the network to attack every day. So this raises a serious question. Does simply adding more network security devices protect a network from security breaches? Evidently not. You need a tool which monitors all your network security devices and periodically identifies internal and external threats on a real-time basis to navigate and overcome these issues. Introducing Firewall Analyzer, a log, policy, and configuration monitoring tool that helps in log analysis, that is helping you to generate in-depth log reports using which you can keep track of security and traffic logs. It helps with alarm management, which is notifying you about security and bandwidth anomalies in real time. It also helps with providing inventory reports that contain details about each individual firewall devices and all their performance metrics. And finally, the last three, which is rule management, which helps you to manage and optimize your firewall rules. Configuration and monitoring backup feature, which helps you to identify who made what changes and when and where those changes were made, and helps you to keep track of your configurations and take a backup in case of network disaster. And finally, compliance management, which helps in identifying firewall misconfigurations with its out-of-the-box mandate reports. So these are the features that are available in Firewall Analyzer. And in today's session, especially, we are going to cover the first three, that is the log analysis, alarm management, and inventory reports in detail. In the previous week, that is on 31st October, we covered the last three features in detail. So in case you have missed them, do not worry. I'll be sharing a recording of that session as well, along with this session's recording post this webinar. All right. So let us look at some of the basic installation and configuration requirements to fetch firewall logs into Firewall Analyzer. First, you will have to do is you have to install the tool Firewall Analyzer, and the installation requirements for that will be shared with you over this webinar in the form of an email, or in case you want to look at it now, it is available on our website. And once you follow those instructions and install the tool onto your device, the second step that you have to do is to fetch the firewall logs. So to set up firewall logs, you need to configure your device to send syslogs via the port UDP port 1514. So in case the port 1514 is free, an alternate free port needs to be selected. And once Firewall Analyzer is installed, Firewall Analyzer must be directed to receive syslogs from this new port. Firewall Analyzer by default listens to 1514, which is the default listener port for firewalls. Right. So there are three ways to export syslogs to Firewall Analyzer. And as mentioned before, the first way is to configure the firewall device to forward the syslogs to the port 1514. And the second way would be to manually add the rule file and the configuration file to the tool. And finally, we have a third method, which is to directly add the device to Firewall Analyzer simply by using its DNS name and IP address. So those are the ways in which you can add your firewall device to Firewall Analyzer. So once the syslogs have been successfully forwarded and the devices have been added, Firewall Analyzer starts to generate various reports, such as your security report, VPN report, and bandwidth reports. So I'll be showing them in detail throughout the course of this session. Not only that, you can also start triggering alarm notifications for various anomalies that Firewall Analyzer detects in your security network. Firewall Analyzer provides a wide range of reports, and those that are provided by Firewall Analyzer are displayed in the screen for you. So first we have VPN reports, which gives you detailed VPN analysis that helps you to plan your VPN bandwidth capacity and for future allocation of bandwidth resources. And then you have firewall reports, which is a combination of firewall traffic and security analytics. And then you have dashboard and inventory reports. These reports give you a high-level overview on all the firewall stats that are present in your network. And fourth, we have proxy reports. So these are reports that are generated by analyzing the proxy servers that are present in your network. And fifth, we have custom reports. So these are customizable reports in case you find that none of the predefined reports that are present in the tool is to your satisfaction. You can create a custom rule by using the required metric of your choosing, and you can get that downloaded or scheduled to you in the form of an email. And finally, we have the search reports. So these help you to perform forensic log analysis, such as your aggregate and raw search reports. So these are the reports that are present by default in Firewall Analyzer. So since the pandemic in 2020, the work environment, as we know, no longer exists. To cope, companies have moved to a hybrid work landscape, which is a combination of work from home and work from office. However, as security admin, this poses a lot of security and bandwidth issues. In today's use cases, we will cover security and bandwidth management for your VPN infrastructure in detail. Those who attended the previous session would know who Jim is. And for people who are freshly joining this session, Jim is a security admin, and his company has adopted a hybrid work approach. So let us look into the various security and bandwidth issues faced by Jim and how he uses Firewall Analyzer to overcome these issues. Right, so moving on. So most organizations, as I said, have moved to a work culture where employees have the freedom to work from any place they want. And for this environment to be successful, many organizations have implemented a dedicated VPN. However, the very same virtual private network connection that enables employees to work from remote locations can also lead to a security lapse if it is not properly monitored. So this makes VPN traffic monitoring one of the most important functions for any network security administrator. Firewall Analyzer generates in-depth VPN reports, which help you to identify and track the amount of traffic that is consumed by VPN users, identify the number of users that are connected to your VPN, monitor the active VPN user sessions and the bandwidth consumed, and it also helps you to track VPN consumption and generate consumption trends. So let us look at how these reports looks like in product UI. So for this, I've created a simulated setup using Firewall Analyzer. So I'm going to quickly take you to the section where you can see the VPN reports. So for this, you go to reports, and under reports, you click on VPN reports. Let's give this a second. All right, so here I have selected VPN reports. So now I'm going to choose to have this data generated for all my devices, not any specific firewall device in particular. And in addition to that, I'm also going to generate this for the past 30 days. All right, so what you see here in the left are the VPN related reports that are available by default. So here you can see that we have a couple of active VPN user reports, VPN session reports, top users report, VPN usage report, and several other reports that are present by default. So how do we use each of these reports? I'll be covering each of them with specific use cases. All right, so as a first task, Jim, that is our imaginary security admin, has been asked to identify which users are currently logged into the VPN. So this is especially useful to check if employees are logging into the company server and their activity status. Let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. So for that, I'm taking you to the tool. And over here, the requirement is that Jim has to identify all the active VPN users. And for that, under reports, under VPN reports, you go to active VPN users. And here you get a list of all the users who are currently active. And in addition to that, you also get further informations like the assigned, you get the host information, the source country from where they're accessing your network, the assigned IP, the VPN with which they are connecting, the start time on when they have started using the VPN connection, the duration for which they are staying connected, and also the device using which they are connecting the VPN. So with this, Jim has a clear understanding as to who has logged in, who has been active. And in order to get this data in the form of a report, we provide you the option to download them in the form of PDF, CSV, or Excel. All of that is available. And however, if you want to send that in the form of an email, simply click on the email button and enter the dedicated details. You'll get that in the form of email. And to schedule this report so that you get it continuously at periodic intervals, click on the schedule option and give this, let's call this monthly report, and choose the firewalls for which I want to have this data. Let me just choose one for now and hit next and choose the schedule option. Do I want to have this report sent to me on an hourly basis, daily, weekly, or a monthly basis? Let's choose month. And let's say I want this at the start of every month, and the time. You're done with that, simply hit next. And here you enter the email address, enter the subject name. And in case you have a note, that is you want to send this to your upper management, telling them this is a VPN report, you can add that here, hit save. And here you have a new report profile created for this very purpose. Moving back to the VPN sessions. So this is how you schedule a report using Firewall Analyzer. Right. So moving back to the deck. So now Jim has fulfilled the first use case. So now moving on to the second use case, the management wants to know the complete VPN activity of all the employees. And this includes both the active sessions and the completed sessions. That is, they want to know the people who have logged into the network in the past and also the ones who are currently connected using the VPN. So let's see how Jim can obtain this information using Firewall Analyzer. So taking you back to the tool. And to access this, simply you go to VPN reports, and under VPN reports, you choose VPN sessions. So in active VPN users, which we saw previously, it will give you a list of all the active users or active sessions only. However, VPN sessions will give you a list of active as well as users who have completed their sessions, that is ones that have logged into the past. So this will give you a list of all the users who have accessed the VPN. So this includes both the active and passive users. So the ones that are marked in green are the ones that are currently active, and the ones marked in gray are the ones that have ended their session. You can see the end time over here, and ones that are connected are still connected and are live. In addition to this, you also get to know the duration of someone that has been connected to the VPN. What is the amount of bandwidth that the connected person has consumed. And you also get to know from which VPN device was the VPN accessed. With this information, let's say, for example, the management specifically wants to know how long someone has been active and how much bandwidth that person has consumed using VPN. You can use this report to submit them an answer. All right, so now that use case 2 is done, moving on to the third use case, where the company has understood that a majority of the resources, that is the employees, are connecting to the network using VPN. And for this purpose, it becomes extremely important for them to plan and allocate the bandwidth accordingly. So say if a single employee is hogging all the bandwidth, this would slow down the network usage experience for the other employees. Hence, as a third task, Jim has been asked to identify more details on VPN user activity and to understand and analyze the connection trend. And also, like the previous report, the company wants Jim to send this to them on a weekly basis. So let's say that they also want to have this report scheduled. So let's look at how Jim can achieve this by using Firewall Analyzer. So moving back to the product. So to look at this data, you simply under VPN reports, you go to top users. And here for all devices for the past 30 days, you get this data. And from this data, you can understand the list of all the users have been connected to the network and how much bandwidth they have consumed and when they have consumed or the duration in which they have consumed the said bandwidth. You can also get that. So with this, Jim gets clear understanding on the top users, how many times they have connected, which is the hit number, and also the data that has been consumed by them. And again, to schedule this report, simply click on schedule, and to have this in a weekly format, let's call this weekly report and hit next. And here you choose weekly and you choose the date in which you want to generate this report and follow a similar process to how I explained in the previous deck. And you can schedule this report on a weekly basis. So moving on. So now that use case 3 is done, the company now wants, as assigned Jim, another task, which is to identify the active VPN connection count for a specific firewall. So why does the company wants Jim to do this? Because most devices, most firewall devices, they offer only a limited number of VPN connections. And as the number goes up, the cost also goes up with it. Hence, it is extremely critical to plan the VPN connection capacity on the dot. Purchasing excess capacity would result in excess IT spend, and purchasing lesser capacity would result in performance and productivity degradation. Hence, Jim needs to monitor the connections for a specific firewall. So let's look at how Jim can do this using Firewall Analyzer. So moving back to the product, and over here, you simply go to VPN overview. All right. So under overview, you can see that you have the data for the active sessions, connection, etc. And as per the company's requirement, you do not want this data for all the devices, but for a specific device. So let me choose my Cisco ASA firewall for this. So here you can see that the active sessions report, which tells you that at any given point of time, the maximum active sessions is around 5. So let's say that you have planned only for a maximum connection of around 3. And in that case, this becomes a huge problem because at a single point of time, there are going to be at least 5 people who are going to be active and stay connected to your network using the Cisco ASA firewall. So with this report, you can clearly identify and understand how many connections each firewall device requires, and you can plan your capacity perfectly and ensure that additional IT spend is reduced. All right, moving on. So next we're going to move on to use case 5. And the next case that is assigned to Jim by the company is to identify the failed VPN login attempts. In Jim's company, a lot of employees are complaining that they were unable to log in because of random issues. And hence, Jim has been asked to proactively reach out to these employees or the people who have been unable to log in and fix these failed logins, since they believe that this will not only increase their productivity, but also help in identifying spurious login attempts. Given that people are working from home and you're not sure if your Wi-Fi is compromised or if someone is trying to get into your enterprise network using the VPN, this becomes an important metric to keep track of. So let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. So once again, taking you back to the product, and under reports, under VPN reports, you go to VPN reports over here. All right. So now I'm going to have this data for all of my firewall devices. All right. So when you scroll down, you have something called failed VPN users. And you scroll down, you have top VPN protocol groups, top VPN traffic trends, group trends, all those data is available. So our focus right now is the top failed VPN users. And with this, you can see that this particular user, admin user, has had around 3 hits, which means this admin user has tried to log into the network and has made 3 attempts so far and has remained unsuccessful. So with this data, Jim can directly reach out to this person to understand the difficulties that they are facing when they're trying to log in and fix it proactively to make sure that they have a seamless login experience and the productivity does not take a hit. All right, so moving on to the next use case. So now that a lot of employees are accessing the network using VPN, for device and bandwidth allocation purposes, it becomes extremely important that the security admin Jim identifies the busiest hour and the leanest hour to plan the VPN infrastructure accordingly. So say, for example, there is going to be a product release, and say that this release happens every second week of the month. So what is eventually going to happen is, whenever this release is happening, that is around the second week of the month, a lot of people will be logging into the VPN. So given that you do not understand this trend, there is a very high chance that there will be issues at the customer end or at the employee end, which will result in an impact in productivity. So let us look at how Jim gets this report using Firewall Analyzer. For that, I'm taking you to the product, and I'm going to go to VPN trend reports, which is present under reports, under VPN reports. Go to VPN trend report. All right. Right. So here you can clearly see that I have detailed data for my 30-day period. And here you can see you get the daily, weekly, monthly, and also yearly VPN trend data. And by using this, you can clearly understand the VPN trend requests. And in the 30-day report, you can understand when there has been a spike in users who are trying to log into the network. So around, say, around November 1st, we are around 20 people. So let's say that there is a spike in the activity. With this report, Jim can clearly understand this trend and make sure the VPN capacity is planned accordingly. All right. So after VPN reports, the next report that we are going to be looking at is Firewall Analyzer's security and traffic reports. So the Firewall Analyzer's reports are basically classified into two types, that is security analytics and traffic analytics. And in this slide, we'll be covering the security analytics features alone. So till date, the employees have been protected by the office network, and the combination of network security devices and strict compliance to various security mandates has kept the network safe. So even if a hacker tries to penetrate the network when the employee is working from the office, a combination of smart security monitoring and remediation by the IT admins has always protected the enterprise from attacks. However, with the adoption of work from anywhere, this is no longer the case. Hackers have quickly pounced onto the situation, and they find remote employees an easy target. And they can use these remote employees and their connections to eventually get their hands on enterprise data. Hence, it is extremely critical to closely monitor all your security logs to identify any abnormal behavior. Firewall Analyzer, for this purpose, provides detailed security reports on your attack reports, virus reports, top security events, denied events, top spam generators, and failed logon details. So let me show this to you in working in the product. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product. And over here, you go to reports and you go to firewall reports. And under firewall reports, you can see that we have both the security and traffic reports clubbed together. That is present over here. All of the reports that are available. And if you scroll down, you can see all our security related reports listed over here. And I'm clicking on my security reports. And in addition to the security reports, we also have detailed virus reports, we have attack reports, spam reports, and you even have event trend reports. So with these detailed reports, Jim can get a clear understanding as to what are the security issues, or which specific destination or any specific host is facing an issue. And in case there is any specific IP address or a protocol is used to mount an attack, he can understand all of those informations with the click of a button from these reports as well. So moving on to the deck. Okay, so let us look at a use case for security reports. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks that is happening in Jim's company, and the frequency of these attacks have increased ever since the remote workforce came into play. And the dangers of the security threats has been increasing exponentially because the rate at which the attacks are happening are constantly increasing. So to minimize this, or to get to the root of this, the company wants Jim to understand which protocol is being used by the attackers to attack the network. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. For that, I'm taking you to the product again. So under reports, under firewall reports, you go to attack reports. So you click on that, and the attack reports will help Jim to understand what type of attacks or what type of protocol is being used to mount these attacks. So here you get all the detailed information. You get the top attackers, top targets, top protocols used by attackers. Everything is available by default. And over here you get something called top protocols used by the attackers. So with this report alone, you get clear information on what are the main protocols that are used by the attackers. And with this, you can see that in this report, there are multiple attacks that has happened from the FTP protocol, a couple attacks from the print options. So these are the analysis that is quickly presented to Jim with the click of a button. So to know more, simply click on that and you'll get all the host destination and the number of hit that has happened. To get more, again, you also have the graphical option to view that in different format. And you can view the details. You get the top 10 or top 5, but here you scroll down, click on the expand option, you get all the set information in detail. Moving on. So now that we have covered security reports in detail, now let's move on to the traffic analytics. Also, I would like to let you know that in case you want to check out all of these reports in detail, we do have an option that is simply log on to demo.fwanalyzer.com. Simply go on to this URL, type it on your browser search window. You get to this URL. We don't need your email ID or anything. Simply just log in, check out our features. And in case you have any questions on any of our features, or you want to know if we have default reports for any of your requirements, you can always reach out to our panelist who is waiting to answer your question. Simply go to the Q&A section that is present at the top left corner and type in your queries, and we'll have our panelists to answer all your doubts regarding the product. All right, so going back to the deck. So now that we have covered the security reports in detail, we're now moving on to the traffic analytics report of firewall reports. So under traffic analytics, we get detailed traffic usage reports on the different protocols, applications, cloud services, internet, and several other reports. In addition to that, you also get detailed trend reports on the traffic and the events that has been generated and identified by Firewall Analyzer tool. So let us look at how this looks like in the product UI. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product, and over here under reports, under firewall reports, scroll up and you arrive at the traffic reports. In case you're having trouble scrolling, you can search for the set reports using the search icon over here. All right, so here you have the traffic report that is being generated for you. So here you have, in addition to the traffic report, we have broken down the different reports into protocol usage reports, web usage reports, mail usage reports, and we also have internet and internet reports. So all of these are available by default. Right, so with these reports, Jim can easily identify if there are any issues with respect to the traffic or if any specific user is hogging a lot of bandwidth. And in case to find out if there is a specific person who's taking up a lot of bandwidth, simply scroll down and here you get this, the top users, and this includes the sent plus received count. So here you can see that this one particular user named Chris has been hogging a lot of data compared to the other users. And to understand more of that, simply click on Chris and you'll be taken to a different window where you get the details of the protocol groups, the hits, and everything else for the specific user, Chris. And you can understand how he's been consuming so much bandwidth. So with this data, you get a clear understanding of where your bandwidth has gone and who has used most of it, or which particular protocol or particular application has used your bandwidth. Next, we're going to look at the dashboard and inventory reports. So dashboard is nothing but an aggregated report which gives you the firewall, which is split into different reports. And first we have the firewall overview report. So this is nothing but a high-level overview of your firewall traffic statistics, security statistics, and system performance. And then you have live traffic report. So here you get the live traffic data through each of your individual firewalls that has been added to Firewall Analyzer. And then you have VPN reports. So this provides your active VPN user list and VPN usage details. So this is nothing but a summary of what we found in the VPN dedicated VPN reports. And Following VPN reports, we have users and cloud control and rules. So this gives you an overview of all the rules that have been consumed or have been used by specific users, and the users and clouds services that has been accessed by the said user. So all of these details are available. So in addition to dashboard, we also have inventory reports. But before that, let's take a look at the dashboard in the product. So for that, I'm taking you to our product, and to access dashboard, simply click on the dashboard button, and under dashboard we have two different dashboards, and that is we have two different overviews, which would be the firewall summary and system performance. So what you're looking at is the firewall summary overview report, and contains a high-level overview of all the traffic and security statistics of your firewall devices. So this applies to all your firewall devices, and this gives you how an overall idea of how your network is performing in terms of traffic and security. So here we have a couple of reports: top host by attack, country traffic, application traffic. Everything is available by default. And next, we have one more overview, which would be the system performance. And this gives you an overview of CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk space monitor, the number of logs that has been consumed every second, that has been generated every second, the DB connection count, and also the thread count. And finally, we're done with the overview report. So next, moving on to the live traffic. Here you get live traffic data through your individual firewalls. To choose your firewalls, you just have to click on the edit option and choose the respective firewall devices. And following live traffic, you have cloud control, which provides information on the usage statistics of your various cloud platform. This includes file sharing services, social media services, business services, cloud services, and also your other cloud services. And following that, we have users. So here you get to understand who are the users that have consumed more traffic, the user consumption based on cloud users. All of these is present. And then we have VPN details. Again, this is a summary of what we saw in the VPN reports. Then we have rule management. Here you can see all the summary of the rule management feature. You can see the anomalies categorized and all the firewalls which constitute these categorizations. You can see that. Right. All right. Next, we have security reports. These are once again a summary of your entire network and its security postures over all of that. Likewise, you have standards, etc. And in case you want to create a customized report or a customized dashboard, and you can do that also. And to create a customized dashboard, simply go to the dashboard option here, click new dashboard, and let's call this new dashboard. Click next, and you can choose the widgets for which you want to place on your dashboard. And once you're done with all of that, simply hit next, and here you can choose the access. That is, only those who you have selected will have access to these dashboards. So let's say that you have 2 or 3 admins and you want to create a separate dashboard for each of the admin. Let's say you have an admin who works in the night, and one who works in the morning, and one who works in the evening. You can segregate their accesses, restrict them to view only specific firewall and their metrics, and create dashboards and share it with them, so that it will be easier for them to keep track of how your network is performing. All right, so moving back, now we're going to look at the inventory reports. So inventory reports, on the other hand, is the individual device-based report, which gives you a status update on the devices. That is, each firewall device that is connected to Firewall Analyzer, you can view their basic metrics. And next, you can view the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall devices. You can view the users who have generated traffic from each of these configured firewall device. And you can also view the cloud services that has been used by each firewall device. And finally, you can also look at the rules that are triggered in each of the firewall devices. So let me take you to the product to show that to you in working. All right, so to view your inventory, simply go to the inventory option, click on it, and all right, so here you can see the devices, which tells you each firewall device that is configured to Firewall Analyzer. interfaces, that is all the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall devices, and the number of users who are currently present in the that are configured in the Firewall Analyzer tool present over here, and the cloud services that have been used via the firewall devices. Finally, the rules that have been triggered in specific firewall device. And once again, you get a detailed graphical representation of all of the above said features. Right. So moving on. So let's say that in Jim's company, there have been a lot of attacks that is taking place using a single firewall. And for this purpose, Jim has been asked to investigate about the attack and get details about what that attack is and where it is happening from. So let us look at how Jim utilizes the inventory reports to get the said information. Excuse me. So for this, again, you go to inventory, click on devices. Here you get the detailed list of all the devices that are configured. And let's say that all of these attacks is coming from a specific FortiGate device, that is this one. And to explore more, simply click on it, and you get detailed information about this particular firewall device. Here you get the basic summary, and over here you get the bandwidth consumption of this particular firewall device, and you get the top 10 information, that is top 10 host, destination, protocol, group, server. All of that is available. Right. Next, you can view the sites that have been active using this particular firewall device. And here you can see the apps that have been used. And you can also look at the rules that have been triggered, the VPN connection data, that is the VPN that has been accessed using this particular firewall. You'll get all of those informations. And finally, we have arrived at security. And with this, you can see you'll get a list of top attacks, top denied hosts, and even top denied destinations. Destinations are top viruses and status. So all of these is available by default. And with this, Jim can understand where an attack has originated from, which specific device or which specific IP is having an issue. So all of these information is available to Jim using the inventory reports. So Firewall Analyzer is also capable of analyzing the logs from Squid proxy servers and is capable of generating URL reports, top talkers report, website details report, and also proxy usage report. So let me quickly take you to the product to show this to you in working. And to access your proxy reports, simply go to reports and click on proxy reports. Right. So now I'm going to set this data for the past 30 days. And let's see what Firewall Analyzer has captured from this proxy server for the past 30 days. All right, so here you can see we have detailed information, and this report is subdivided into URL reports. We have proxy usage reports, we have website details report, and we also have top talkers report. Right, so let's look at a use case for proxy viruses. And let's say that Jim has been asked by the company to see if there are any proxy virus attacks in the system. And if there are any proxy viruses, they want to understand the source of these attacks. So let's look at how Jim identifies the proxy virus attacks using the Firewall Analyzer tool. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product, and under reports, under proxy reports, you go to website details. All right, so under website details, you have a separate report called the proxy virus report. Just scroll down, and here you get this proxy virus report. And in this proxy virus report, you get detailed information of all the proxy virus attacks that has happened. And you also get details as to which is the host and what is the count and what is the hit percentage of that particular host. All right, so to get more information, simply once again click on it, and here you get all the formatted logs and all of these informations readily available. And this is how you identify the virus attacks that has happened in your proxy servers using Firewall Analyzer. And Firewall Analyzer also presents Jim with the option to view country-wise traffic data. And to view that, simply go and click on country reports. And once again, let me choose to have this data for 30 days. Right. So, So with this, Jim can understand the traffic that is passing through his organization's firewall device, and this will give him the country of origin, where the traffic has originated from, and the destination of the said traffic. And simply have to click on any country to view more details about all of them. So yes, these are all available at the click of a button. So moving on. Next, we're going to look at custom reports. So in case any of the predefined reports do not fit your requirements, then customized reports will help you to satisfy all your reporting needs. So Jim has been asked to identify which users have logged in via VPN and have also been given specific conditions and filters to add and remove certain members of the team from this report. That is basically the company wants Jim to create a report to understand their VPN consumption, but they want to exclude all of the upper management, all the C-level executives, and create this report. So let's see how Jim can create this customized, this unique requirement using the custom reports. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product, and over here you go to reports, custom reports, and click on create report profile. All right, so let me call this VPN report. All right, so here you have an option called filter. So let me create a quick filter. Click on filter. So what is this filter and how does this work? So to explain that, let me create an example for you. I'm going to hit on add filter, and here you can see that we have two filter options, include or exclude filter. So basically what this does is whatever information you're filling here and creating, and let's say I'm creating an exclude filter. So whatever I'm creating here will be added as a specific exclude filter, which when you add it to this report, and when this report is generated, any detail that is listed in the exclude filter will be removed when this report is being generated. So let me create a VPN report and reports exclude filter. I'm gonna have create an upper management filter, and to do this, I'm gonna select a specific range. Let me say this. Let's say that I have 10 IP addresses which are from my upper management that I want to exclude when I'm creating this report. So creating this filter, I'm gonna hit OK. Right. So yes, now you can see that I have created an exclude filter and I've included all my upper management into this. So when this report is generated, all the IP addresses mentioned in this filter will be excluded. Right, so next, I can choose the type of report that I want to generate. In case I have predefined reports for all of them, I can choose any of the predefined reports. But however, if I want to create my own predefined report option, simply I can, this is basically the output format of your report. Simply you hit on add report, and let me call this management report. And let's say that this is based on VPN. And I can choose the graphical representation. How do I want it? Pie chart, table. I can choose it over here. I can choose the resource. Let me have that as VPN and some of bytes received. And table settings also I can choose. Let me include VPN, and I'm going to hit OK. When I scroll down, I can see that the new report that I have created has been listed over here. So you can create predefined reports. You can create them in advance, and every time you create a customized report, you can simply choose a previous report that you have created so that the output is according to your requirements. And once you're done with that, you can either schedule this to be sent to you periodically, or in case you do not want to have this scheduled but want this to be a one-time report, you can simply disable that. You hit on save, and you'll be taken to the report section where you can see that the new report that I have created will be populated over here. You to have clicked a different button. All right, here you can see that the new VPN report that I have created is currently listed in my report profiles. So this is how we create a custom report. All right, so moving on. So next we're going to look at the search reports. So this is nothing but a report that helps you to perform forensic analysis for a certain period of time using the log files. So in Firewall Analyzer, we have two types of search reports. First would be the aggregated search, which provides information based on specific criteria over a period of time, hence aggregated. And then you have a raw firewall search report, which helps you to provide forensic log analysis from multiple activities. So let me take you to the next slide where we give you a use case. And the first use case is for the aggregated search. And let's say that we have a user by the name Tom, and he's hogging all the bandwidth. And Jim has been asked to generate a report on exactly how much bandwidth that particular user is consuming and various other details about that one single user. So let us look at how Jim identifies the said information using the tool. So for that, taking you back to the product. And for this, you hit on search, you click search, and here you choose aggregated search. So let me say I want this data for all of my devices, selected all my devices, and for the user is Tom. And once I hit press, that metric gets added. And when I hit generate, I'll get an output that is similar to what is shown on the screen. And in this report, you will get the host, the user, the severity, the number of events that they have generated, and also the total bytes that they have subsequently consumed. In addition to that, you also get detailed admin reports, spam details, host details, and all of that is available. So once again, I implore you to check all of these features out on our online demo tool, which is nothing but demo.fwanalyzer.com. And all of the features are available for your perusal. All right, so moving on. So next we have one more use case, and this is a use case concerning a virus attack. So this is also for the feature raw search. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks on Jim's network, and this has been especially the case since the number of remote employees in Jim's company has increased. And for this purpose, Jim has been asked to identify all the virus attacks that are in the system. So let us look at how Jim identifies using Firewall Analyzer the amount of virus attacks that has happened using the raw search feature. So taking you back to the product, and here instead of aggregate search, click on raw search, and I want to search all of my firewall devices. So everything is under the listed devices section, raw firewall logs, and my requirement is the raw virus attacks only. So I'm only going to choose that, and I'm going to set my protocol as virus isn't null. I'm going to hit generate. Let's give it a few seconds. So once you hit generate, you get a list of all the virus attacks that has happened in your network. And in addition to that, you also get to drill down all of the information of the specific log that was responsible for this attack using the raw logs option. So with this, figuring out where the issue is and to mine and check the issue becomes much easier. And the raw search function can be used for the forensic log analysis exclusive. And in case you want to save that, you can do that over here. Choose the time period by clicking on the date section over here. And with this, you can check out the raw data for various time frames. So moving on, next, we're going to look at the alarm management section of the tool, which is also the last feature that we're going to be discussing today. So in Firewall Analyzer, we have three types of alarm profiles, which would be the normal, anomaly, and bandwidth. Normal alerts are used for any specific activity, a one-time alert of sorts. And anomaly alerts are usually used when you want to notify about an event over a period of time. And finally, you have bandwidth or threshold alert, which can be used when you want to set alerts to be notified to you when you cross a specific bandwidth threshold. And all alarms can be seen in the alarm section in the product UI. And these alerts can be triggered to notify you over various methods, such as you have email, run a script, SMS, and several other options. So to enable the email and SMS options, you'll have to configure their respective servers with Firewall Analyzer. And in addition to that, you also have run a script, you have log a ticket, you have web alarms, and several others, which I'll be showing you through this session. Right. So now to give you an example of how the demo in the UI will look like. So for this, I'm going to go to my online demo build. I'm going to click on alarms. And here you can see a sample of how the triggered alarms will look at. Okay, click on my, let me relog in into the online demo. So while that is loading, let me show you the alarm section in my local setup. All right, so here you can see that I have a bunch of critical alerts, and in case you have trouble, attention or service zone alerts, that will also be listed over here, and these alerts are color coded. And in case you want to filter them out or anything, you have the option to do that over here. So let me show you a wider array of alarm messages. So these are present in the online demo. You can see we have several critical and trouble alarms simulated for the purpose of demonstration. So let us quickly look at a use case for alarm management. All right, so again, let's assume that since a lot of employees are working remotely, and this has made the company more vulnerable to attacks, and the company has recently noticed that they have been receiving a lot of ARP attacks. So with this, the company wants Jim to identify the ARP attacks that is happening in every inception. But before that, when you notice an attack that is happening, you have the option to configure the method in which you get to be notified by the Firewall Analyzer. So for that, I'm quickly going to tell you the various notification profiles that are available in the tool, and I'm going to show you a quick demonstration. So to look at the notification profiles, simply go to Settings, Others, and click on Notification Templates. And to create a new notification template, simply hit on Add. And here you can see that we have a wide array of notification methods. You have email, email-based SMS, chat in case you sync Firewall Analyzer with Slack or Microsoft Teams, that becomes available. You can run a program using any of your script that is pre-uploaded. You can log a ticket using any of our ticket generating tool synchronizations. You can connect with Manage Engine SDP, and you can log ticket over there. We have web alarm, that is basically something like this, that just tells you that a particular notification has been generated when a threshold violation occurs in the tool itself. Then you have syslog profile, trap profile, and also invoke a webhook option. So these are the various methods by which you can create your own notification templates. So coming back to the deck, so now the company wants Jim to identify ARP attacks, since that is happening frequently. They want him to trigger an alarm whenever a particular number of ARP attacks happen in a particular set time frame. So let's say around 5 attacks happening in a time frame of 10 minutes. So this is their requirement. So let's see how Jim can do this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, I'm taking you back to the tool, and here you go to Settings, go to Others, and go to Alarm Profiles. All right, so since this is a specific alarm, we need to create a new alarm for this. So I'm going to hit on Add over here, and let me give this a name. Let's call this ARP attack, and this would be a normal alert. All right, so then since this is a specific alarm, we need to generate an alarm profile for this specifically, and inside this alarm profile, you're given all of these informations. So the requirement would be to choose an ARP attack profile. So I'm going to go ahead and choose custom over here, and the severity, I'm going to choose my filter option as virus or attacks, and let's say that this contains ARP. Okay. So the criteria would be that the virus or attack contains ARP in the alarm profile, and over here I'm going to set the threshold as critical and alert for every, let's say, 5 event that is generated in a period of 10 minutes. And you can directly assign the owner over here. I'm going to set that to admin, and I'm going to enable notification, and I have a web alarm created for this purpose. I'm going to hit save. When I do that, I can see that the ARP attack profile has been successfully created. So every time 5 ARP attacks happen in a span of 10 minutes, a web alarm will be generated, and it will be shown on the window in which Firewall Analyzer is operating over here, something like this. So moving on. Next, we've arrived at the final use case for the day. So it has been noticed that a specific user is hogging a lot of bandwidth, and this user goes by the name John, and he's using a particular app, which would be YouTube, and is consuming a lot of data. So for this purpose, the company wants to be notified every time this particular user, John, consumes more than 1 GB of data in a span of 1 hour. So to show that to you in working, I'm taking you back to the alarm profiles. I'm going to hit on add to create a new alarm profile. And this would be an anomaly alert. And this YouTube, let's call this John alert. We have one over here. YouTube, and let me choose predefined would be traffic report, and I'm going to set my user to John, and application would be YouTube. Once that is done, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to set the threshold details. So in a period of 1 hour, if total traffic of all, because we have already set John and the application over here, exceeds 1 GB, you create a critical alarm and assign it to the admin. And this will be checked for every 15 minutes. And every time this is notified, even once on the first occurrence, you'll be notified. So again, I can choose different methods that is available. We have the Slack option as well. So again, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to simply choose my web alarm over here. I'm going to hit save. And you can see that my YouTube alert profile has been successfully created. In case you do not want to have it on active, simply turn it off. So to summarize, Firewall Analyzer is a policy and config management tool, and it helps you to identify policy anomalies, unused rules, and helps you to perform in-depth impact analysis. So these features were discussed in previous session. And in today's session, we looked at how VPN reports can be helpful to identify the capacity and bandwidth of your VPN. It helps you with detailed security analytics and traffic analytics. And you also looked at use cases for search reports. And finally, we also looked at how to set alarm notifications using your email, SMS, and several other notification metrics. And finally, Firewall Analyzer supports all major firewall devices. So do not worry in case you missed any of these points or any of these sessions. I'll be sharing a video recording of all of this post this session via email. Right, so next we have a couple of FAQ questions, and I've taken the privilege to add them to the session. In case you have any questions, feel free to ask our panelists by simply typing out your question in the chat panel. Right, so we have one question to discuss, and that would be on the trend graphs. So is it possible to get trend reports in Firewall Analyzer? So the answer to that is yes, we can get trend reports, and we have trend reports for VPN reports. We also have them for firewall reports. So simply scroll down, and here you get the VPN trend reports over here, all my devices. And we have the same for firewall reports. We go to firewall reports, and we quickly set this. Quickly scroll down and show you the traffic trend reports, event trend reports, and we have several other trend reports by default in Firewall Analyzer. All right, so if you have any questions on the product, you can check them out you can check out our product's detailed explanations on our help page, which is available at help/index.html. And I'll be sharing this deck with you, so you don't have to go around on Google searching out for these URLs. And we also have a community to discuss all our admin related questions. We have our technicians answering them actively on this forum, which is managed in Pitstop. And in case you want to reach out to us, we are available on the email address and phone number that is given on the screen. So any questions you have that you do not want to ask in this session, or in case you get any questions later, you can feel free to write to us in the email and phone, or call us in the number that is given on the screen. All right, so we are listed on Capterra. In case you are an existing customer or an evaluator of the product and you would like to share us your feedback, you can do that on Capterra. And to make it worthwhile, we'll be sharing a $25 gift card to all the reviews that we receive on Capterra. All right, so we have several more VPN related collaterals that is available on our website free of charge. So simply go to our website, look for ebooks, and you can get all of these on the website. So finally, we have the mobile app developed for Firewall Analyzer. So this is available free of cost on Apple and Play Store. So to use this app, all you need to do is have a working setup running on your desktop. So with the very same credentials, you can log in to the mobile app, and you can view all the metrics of your firewall devices over your mobile. Right. So finally, we have to say definitely about security, and we have to reiterate that we take customer security and customer data security as high priority and make sure it stays protected at all costs. And this applies to all the management products in general. So thank you for joining today's session. I hope the training was fruitful. We are available on LinkedIn, Reddit, and YouTube. And in YouTube, we have all of our training sessions listed. And you can find us active on LinkedIn, where we share our product updates, feature updates, and anything to do with managing ITOM, in which Firewall Analyzer is a part of. Thank you for joining. I hope the training was useful and you learned a thing or two about the product.